just want to say that you have recorded a video where you go really deep on this, on the upcoming crash that you say is going to be fast, bloody, and unavoidable. But you also explain how people can position themselves to profit from it. Again, people can watch that video at londonreal.tv/Jim. I highly recommend everyone watch that video. It won't be available on socials. $40 billion being removed from a bank in 24 hours. Like, I didn't even think that was possible. And put that on top of, or maybe that's because of, the rumors spread so fast. And again, you've lived through this at Long-Term Capital Management in '98, and you've seen, like you said, a litany of bank failures. Tell me about this one and how it's different now, and I guess forevermore, with the fact that we've got Twitter, we've got social media, and we've got electronic banking. I actually still am flabbergasted that people like Peter Thiel could take out billions kind of online. I remember famously, Jim, when the mortgage crisis happened here, I wanted to get my money out of NatWest. And funny enough, when I called them, they wouldn't let me do it on the phone. They said, you have to come into a branch. And I said, oh, I see what you're doing. You're trying to stop a bank run. I'm like, I'm sure that's not legal, but I get it. They were putting frictions in place. I had to go and line up with 100 people. And then by then it was either going to be over, or I couldn't do it, or it would slow it down. But speak on maybe how fast the rumors spread, and then how fast people could get the money out, how that's different than the previous ones you've seen.
Well, you make a very good point, Brian. So let's go back to either Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, the Latin American debt crisis, broadly defined of the early 1980s. That played out, the intense phase lasted about 3 years, 82, 83, 84. It wasn't until 1990 that we got around to Brady bonds, which were the ultimate refinancing technique. But the intense period lasted about 3 years. Come forward to 1998, long-term capital management. That was about 3 months. That was July, August, September 1998. SVB was 3 days or less. It was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and done. And I talked to a guy. I know no reason to mention names, but runs one of the largest endowments in the world. And he said, Jim, we were moving $8 billion out of Silicon Valley Bank, and we got the wire transfer request in, but we didn't know, because you get to close business Thursday. We didn't know until Sunday that the money was going to move. We got a confirmation on Monday. We didn't end up moving the money, but there was about a 48-hour period there from Friday to Sunday when no one knew that the wires had been completed. The recipients didn't have them. It was just in limbo, and it worked out. One of the big crypto promoters, they forget the name. Well, the particular name of the bank, but they back one of the stable coins, actually it's USDC, had $3 billion in Silicon Valley Bank. And they talked about, all these small entrepreneurs and startups, they got 100 employees and 5 million in working capital, and that money's gone and they're all going to fail. There was something to that. But the fact is, you had Roku, Cisco, eBay. I mean, there were huge companies with multi-billion-dollar deposits in that bank. It wasn't all a bunch of little guys. So, but yeah, you can. In the old days, you had to line up around the block, and maybe it was raining. You're standing there in the rain, waiting for your turn to get up to the tower. Now you can be in line at McDonald's, with your cell phone, and just a couple hits, QR code, and boom, $10 million is gone. And what Peter Thiel did, and he was right. I mean, I'm not criticizing him. He got his own money out, but he sent out like an SOS to Silicon Valley. He said, all of you, whoever you are, get your money out now. And a lot of people did, and that was that $40 billion. So the time frame is becoming more compressed because of technology. You're exactly right about that, which means that the response function has to be equally compressed, or else you are going to have all the consequences of an honest to goodness global financial crisis. So, and I'm not sure if everyone knows the sequence, but on Friday night, March 10th, the FDIC took over Silicon Valley Bank. And they issued a press release, and they said, here's what we're doing. We're taking over. We're putting it into what's called a receivership. Anyone with $250,000 or less, your deposits are fully insured, no worries. You'll have your money Monday morning. And over $250,000, your deposits are gone. They didn't say frozen. They didn't say suspended. They said gone. And they gave you a receivership certificate, basically an unsecured printed up IOU from the FDIC, but not money. and it's a receivership certificate. And they said, hang on to them. In effect, we're going to sell assets, and as and when we realize proceeds from assets, we'll give you something. We'll give you distributions on these things. Don't know how much, don't know when. We'll do the best we can. Remember in the RTC days in the early 90s, it took them 2 years, and they were very efficient. I worked with them at the time. We were in their offices when we were sitting on boxes because they didn't even have furniture, but they were doing deals. So they had the right attitude, but that took 2 years. So and that was it. Well, that's when I call the billionaire crybabies came out in force. Bill Ackman, all these guys. Oh, you got to save us. I was like, well, you got to trade on Bill. $5 billion is not enough. But anyway, they pounded on the White House all weekend. Now here's something that very few people say. Almost nobody knew at the time, except the management, although they seem to be asleep at the switch. Everyone's like, yeah, startups, venture capital. And there's a lot of truth to that. 97% of the deposits of Silicon Valley Bank were uninsured. And by the way, that's my new metric for assessing banks. You used to look at, working capital and debt equity ratios and, bad assets, governments. There are lots of ways to measure the health of a bank. But the most relevant way right now is, and this is publicly available, take the ratio of uninsured deposits to total deposits. 30% is comfortable. If you're like, 70% of my deposits are insured, which means they're not panicky. They're not necessarily going to run for the hills. 30%, okay, uninsured, but I have assets. I have that much cash or more. That's a comfortable ratio. When you get over 50, you're in the danger zone. Well, Silicon Valley Bank was 97% uninsured, which meant all the money was going to run, and it did. So that's a way, if you're looking at these big banks or any institution or your own savings institution, to look at it. But Silicon Valley Bank was a climate bank. Were they investing in startups? Yes. Were they investing in technology? Yes. But these were climate. These were green new scam startups looking at battery technology, chemistry, physics, to try to make a better battery. But not much improvement in the battery in 200 years, but they're working on it. Wind turbines, other sustainable fuel alternatives, et cetera. Again, I'm not do that if you like, if that's your field of research, but so much is subsidized by the government and then further subsidized by Silicon Valley Bank. And that's where the assets were. That's where the loans were, by and large. And so the White House is getting hammered, not only because of entrepreneurs, job losses, and by the way, we are in an election cycle here in the United States, but from the greenies who are extremely powerful. So that was Friday night. So Saturday, everyone's crying to the White House. Sunday night is 6 o'clock. By the way, mark that on your calendar. Sunday, 6 p.m. is when they tell you what they're going to do. 6 p.m. Sunday, November 12th, they came out on, March 12th, they came out on Silicon Valley Bank. The following week, 19th, that was Credit Suisse. And then the week after that was something else. But they always announce the collapse on Friday and they announce the relief on Sunday. So they have the weekend to work on it. But you got to be careful about 3-day weekends. We got Easter. Easter is an example.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator, by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.